Guilt is a powerful emotion. It can linger in your mind, weigh down your heart, and control your actions. But what if I told you that this guilt you feel isn't just a personal flaw? What if it's actually being used against you as a tool to manipulate and control your behavior? In this video, we're going to uncover the hidden forces behind guilt, exploring whether it's an ancient survival tool, a societal trap, or even a test of your moral compass. You'll learn why you always feel guilty and, more importantly, how you can break free from its grip. But before we dive in, if you're ready to reclaim your mind and stop letting guilt control your life, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned, because what you're about to discover could change how you see yourself and the world around you. The hidden power of guilt. Are we being manipulated? Guilt isn't just an internal feeling, it's often used as a powerful tool for manipulation. From the very beginning of our lives, society, institutions, and even the media have learned how to wield guilt as a weapon to keep us in line. Think about it. How often do you see advertisements pushing you to buy products that promise to alleviate your guilt? Whether it's for not being healthy enough, not doing enough for your family, or even not living up to your own expectations, guilt is constantly used as a motivator to make you act in ways that benefit others. Consider how the phrase guilt-free is slapped onto products, from indulgent foods to leisure activities, suggesting that without these, you should indeed feel guilty. Or how religious institutions have historically leveraged guilt to maintain control over followers, dictating what's right or wrong based on their doctrines. These messages are so pervasive that they seep into our subconscious, shaping our behaviors without us even realizing it. But it doesn't stop there. Societal norms pressure us into conforming by making us feel guilty for deviating from the accepted path. Ever felt guilty for wanting something different from what's expected? Maybe pursuing a less conventional career, or choosing to live your life in a way that doesn't align with societal standards. That's the power of guilt at work, subtly yet effectively guiding your choices to maintain the status quo. This manipulation distorts our self-perception, making us believe we're inherently flawed. We start to internalize this guilt, feeling as though we're never enough, no matter what we do. And that belief can trap us in a cycle of guilt and compliance, where we're constantly seeking approval and trying to avoid the shame that comes with stepping out of line. But here's the truth. Much of this guilt isn't truly ours. It's been imposed by external forces that benefit from our feelings of inadequacy. The first step to breaking free is recognizing when guilt is being used against you and questioning its origins. Ask yourself, is this guilt really mine, or has it been placed upon me by someone else? Guilt as a survival mechanism, evolution's secret weapon. Guilt isn't just a modern-day phenomenon, it's deeply rooted in our evolution. Imagine living in a tight-knit tribe thousands of years ago, where survival depended on cooperation and social harmony. In such a setting, emotions like guilt played a crucial role in ensuring the group's survival. Guilt likely evolved as a survival mechanism, ensuring cooperation and social harmony in early human societies. If someone acted selfishly or harmed another member of the tribe, feelings of guilt would encourage them to make amends, restoring harmony and strengthening the group. This ensured that everyone worked together and looked out for each other, which was essential for survival in harsh environments. Imagine a scenario where a hunter in a prehistoric tribe took more than their fair share of the kill. The guilt that followed wouldn't just be a personal burden, it would be a social signal, reminding them of their obligation to the group and ensuring that resources were shared more equitably next time. But in today's complex world, this ancient tool may cause more harm than good. The same mechanisms that once helped our ancestors thrive are now fueling unnecessary stress, anxiety, and self-doubt. Our brains still operate with this outdated wiring, leading us to feel guilty for things beyond our control, like not meeting societal expectations that have little to do with survival or personal well-being. For instance, consider how guilt manifests in modern life. You might feel guilty for not being able to juggle the demands of work, family, and personal life perfectly. But this guilt often stems from an unrealistic expectation of being everything to everyone, a burden that our ancestors never had to bear. This guilt doesn't enhance survival. Instead, it contributes to burnout, stress, and a sense of inadequacy. The guilt illusion. Are we trapped in a matrix of emotion? What if guilt is an illusion, a construct designed to keep us conforming to societal expectations? From a young age, we're conditioned to feel guilty for disappointing others or not living up to standards. This guilt becomes part of our internal operating system, keeping us in a cycle of self-doubt. Guilt can often feel like a natural reaction, an undeniable truth that we must accept and deal with. But what if this emotion, much like a software program, has been installed in us by society, culture, or even our upbringing. From the moment we're born, we're taught to feel guilty for a myriad of reasons, disappointing others, not living up to expectations, or even for simply wanting something different from what we've been told is right. This guilt becomes a part of our internal operating system, running in the background of our minds, influencing our decisions, and keeping us trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and compliance. But here's the shocking reality. Much of this guilt is not truly ours. It's a construct, a matrix of emotion that's been designed to keep us from questioning the status quo or stepping outside the boundaries set by society. Philosophers and psychologists have long debated the nature of guilt. Some argue that it's not an innate emotion but a learned behavior, a reflection of the values and norms imposed upon us. If that's the case, then guilt is not a universal truth but a subjective experience shaped by the environment in which we were raised. So, how do we break free from this guilt matrix? The first step is to question the origins of your guilt. When you feel guilty, ask yourself, is this feeling truly mine, or has it been imposed on me by external forces? By becoming aware of the source of your guilt, you can begin to deconstruct it and reclaim your emotional autonomy. Mindfulness practices can be particularly effective in this process. By observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, you can start to identify patterns of guilt that don't serve you. You can challenge the societal norms that have shaped your guilt and redefine your values based on your true self, not on what you've been conditioned to believe. The spiritual side of guilt. Is it a test of our moral compass? Guilt often feels like a heavy burden, but what if it's more than just a weight on your conscience? What if it's a signal from a deeper part of yourself, a test of your moral compass, designed to guide you toward personal growth and integrity? Throughout history, different cultures and religions have interpreted guilt as more than just a psychological response. They've seen it as a spiritual or moral indicator. In many religious traditions, guilt is viewed as a necessary emotion that helps individuals stay aligned with their moral values and ethical standards. It's seen as a tool for self-reflection, encouraging us to assess our actions, recognize when we've strayed from our principles, and make amends. But here's where it gets interesting. Guilt doesn't just point out where we've gone wrong. It also offers us a path to redemption. The experience of guilt can be a catalyst for change, pushing us to confront our mistakes, learn from them, and strive to become better people. In this sense, guilt can be seen as a spiritual test, one that challenges us to refine our character and live more authentically. Different philosophical and spiritual traditions offer unique perspectives on how to navigate guilt. For example, some Eastern philosophies suggest that guilt is a form of attachment that keeps us tethered to negative emotions and that true spiritual freedom comes from releasing these attachments. Meanwhile, many Western religions emphasize the importance of confession, forgiveness, and reconciliation as ways to address guilt and move forward. But regardless of the tradition, the underlying message is the same. Guilt can be a tool for growth if we approach it with the right mindset. Instead of allowing guilt to paralyze you or lead you down a path of self-punishment, view it as an opportunity to check in with your deeper values. Ask yourself, what is this guilt trying to teach me? Is it highlighting a genuine moral misstep, or is it simply a conditioned response? Remember, guilt doesn't have to be a life sentence. By recognizing its origins, questioning its validity, and choosing how to respond to it, you can transform guilt from a source of pain into a pathway to personal freedom and self-awareness. Now, it's your turn. Which perspective on guilt resonated with you the most? How do you plan to change your relationship with guilt moving forward? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the emotions and forces that shape our lives. And don't forget to share this video with anyone who might benefit from a new perspective on guilt. Together, we can help each other break free from the invisible chains that hold us back. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.